Time to blade it up, bitches. Aha! Bathtub! Let it rip! Yes, Bronzer! Show those plumbers who's boss! Don't come out though, because you might break the ceiling. Also, don't show the landlord this video, as he might make me pay for a new bath. Alright, let it rip! Oh, sorry, excuse me. I win! So this isn't something I usually do, but as I always say, and you never really heard me say it until Mr. YouTube Detective digs it up, there's a first time for everything.
When I think of shows that define my childhood, and the plethora of toys that I collect because I thought they'd work exactly as intended in the anime, Beyblade was one of those shows. I was more of a fan of the original seasons, which included the main characters of Tyson, Kai, Ray, Max, Kenny, the noob they kept around for pointless commentary, and Daichi, that one dude to piss off the main character. I never really got into the Metal series. I don't know, I just felt there was something missing, or maybe my nostalgia was just always acting up. Either way, there's nothing better than a fight with some hard rock music to accompany it. Yeah! Sorry, got a little bit carried away. The first season had a different art style, with the Beyblades having more of a paper animated look to them, which limited the action a little bit but could still create some interesting moments. Then the second season saw them dipping into the fountain of youth and making the plot no longer about the best, but more or less a James Bond and Bourne series plot to take down an evil organization through use of infiltration and friendship overcoming all. The final season then brought it back to its roots, but put the main characters against each other, as they believe they can take down Tyson's plot armor, followed by the Beyblade Soviet Association returning to gain control of the sport, because they were so inspired by FIFA and ITV with every World Cup. So, to highlight what made the series so great despite many of the cheesy plot points and dialogue which kids won't notice because they're too happy to care and like a depressed adult like myself, here are my top 10 Beyblade anime battles. Kai vs. the Blade Breakers. This was part of the influence that made fans wish that Kai kept on using Black Dronza, despite the fact that Kai's bond with Dronza grew as a result of this match and thus he could push past his limits. But either way, this match was iconic because it showed what Kai had missed out on all this time. He was so obsessed with going forward on his own merit, which is why he hardly took part in his own team's matches. He was out for himself and no one else. So then he became a quiet individual who didn't really give up on people, but then did somewhat a 180 by going against Tyson in Season 3, and then a complete 900. Gotta love Kai. You go, Glen Coco! No! BBA Revolution vs. F Dynasty Round 2. This is one I never expected to be as good as it turned out to be, especially because the duo weren't set up as great individual bladers, but came alive as an actual team. And Tyson and Daichi settling differences was fun to watch among how they actually ended the match, involving pure strategy which the later seasons could show more of due to the improved animation. Even still, with Tyson and Daichi's improved teamwork, they still almost got showed up by F Dynasty. Whether to be embarrassed by that or not goes to further question, but anime doesn't really respect power levels. Oi! Ray and Kai vs. Joseph and Dunga. Gotta admit, this is a bit of a odd one to put on the list, but I usually base my choices surrounding matches with a certain stake at mind, and unlike the other matches in the carnival with the St. Shields, this is the one that really stands out for me. It starts out as a general match in a setting as awesome as a rusty roller coaster, but then Joseph takes charge and Ray, without trigger, is forced to step in. The pressure on this match revolves around the fact that Ray is facing a disadvantage without his Bit Beast, and was even at a disadvantage when he had his Bit Beast. Yeah, no idea how he failed so hard at that. But don't worry, St. Shields, after the second season, nobody cared about taking a Bit Beast ever again, so your work here is done. Scythe! Ray vs. BRYAN. This was the first battle we saw which had true violence involved in the mix. The moment we saw Ray get his lunch knocked out of him with a part of the dish, we knew the stakes just got higher. And when that third round came along, there wasn't anything BRYAN was going to fall for, and was actually out to kill Ray, or at least severely injure him. He made it look like Ray was unlucky and that it was all a freak accident so that nobody would see any signs of foul play, but the only thing that could save Ray in the end was Drigger to go all out and sacrifice himself, again, and then come back in the next season, and then get lost again. Ray, your track record is astounding. Quick! Tyson vs. Brooklyn. Brooklyn was shown to be a lot more dangerous in this showdown, with Tyson getting absolutely no luck with his all-out assault. Then the battle takes a turn for the worst when Brooklyn goes Dark Phoenix mode and absolutely ruins everything in sight, summoning storms and influencing a wind-enforced battle of rotations. Somehow Tyson knows Brooklyn from childhood, which makes no sense as there was no hint of that before the episode. But when Tyson uses the power of friendship to change his Beyblade into something of an orange caliber, bending the rules a little bit as they don't really get a stadium out nor a referee because I'm pretty sure he's dead by now. Oh wait, no, there he is. Okay, first, you're both out of the dish. Second, how did you get from the sky to a random area on the ground? And third, this is boring. I want to see them kick the shit into each other with spinning razor blades. Those things can crush a giant rock. So now I want them to crush your bloody face. Tyson versus KANE. Ancient beasts in a bit get hurt by lasers, and spinning tops hitting each other hurt people. That is something we had our thoughts about. Was never implied in season 1, due to Ray only getting hurt because BRYAN was actually intending to hurt him, but somehow it comes to light in season 2. It was a bit painful to see KANE completely lose control when his Beyblade gets tampered with, and Cyber Dragoon has a serious advantage, making this match seem like a prison-based torture segment. Although KANE was never really held hostage, he just happened to be there. In fact, the police were terrible in this show. No leads or even any proactiveness in making an effort to catch the people who kidnapped kids for them to survive on an island, even to get them to cover Tyson's hospital bill. But I'm getting carried away. The match itself proves to be so relentless that it messes with KANE's mind, and even brings down the entire building 2 episodes later. I believe this is the longest battle in the entire show, and rightfully so considering this is the best Bit Beast in the world versus the cyber version of the best Bit Beast in the world, arguably. Any Bit Beast that's protected by plot armor is cool in my books. Tyson versus Tala. So we go for a bit of a hat trick with Tyson matches. I don't know, he just gets some epic matches in the show. How exactly do you increase the stakes in a Beyblade battle? Isolate yourselves from the outside world while keeping the broadcast cameras inside to make it suitable for cable television. Yeah, I didn't understand that either. Just remember how awesome Tala was here. Like you must break, Tyson. And then almost getting beaten by KANE in the 3rd series. Okay, no more Fortresses of Solitude after this. Tala downgraded his firmware. He became a bit of a bitch. Oh well. That's what happens when you upgrade to Vista. Tyson vs. Kai, round 3. 2 rivals duking it out, with a space version of Brokeback Mountain to conclude the battle. But damn, they really wanted to kill each other in the match. I mean, no wonder Baker existed. Those arenas cost money to repair, and you need some form of sponsorship. Kai damaging himself to bring himself down to Tyson's condition, although Tyson did have a nap. That was very noble of Kai. Didn't really care about winning the whole thing, he just cared about beating Tyson. If you want an example, though, of 2 rivals competing for a deciding victory, this might be your choice of viewership. I mean, except for that final bit of the battle. I'm guessing it was a bit of filler to make the episode last 20 minutes. Die! Kai versus Brooklyn. Battle of pure determination and raging just like on Call of Duty. Kai does everything to wear Brooklyn out, and that's what Kai exposes. Brooklyn's overconfidence, which eventually causes him to let his guard down. Brooklyn, although speaks the language of the viewer, thinking spinning tops are a serious business. But then again, Brooklyn, so is ridiculous hair. From start to finish, it was a one-sided match, but Kai had more endurance, which is why he won. Or Beyblading spirit, as they said. And then he died. I think. I mean, YouTube comments are saying that's the case. And the wiki, I think. And then he's blading with Dronza in like the last episode, so... What the f*** is going on? Ray versus Crusher. For me, this is a battle where you don't know where it's going to lead, and it's built of emotion and willpower from start to finish. This is Ray at his absolute best, and Crusher having a lot to ride on with his sister going through an operation. But the issue here is that Ray has to save the world of Beyblade. This is how important this thing is! I mean, they were planning to conquer the world with them in season 1. Now it's happening again. It's PTSD coming all the way back to me. And now high-tech and advanced corporations with pros, who we never knew existed before, are now taking over. Ultimately, this ended in pure luck, but as acknowledged, that's just what can happen in sports at times. People may say that's bullshit, but I think that was the point. It was bittersweet, but still showed Ray as the more skilled player, as Ray essentially was still spinning while Crusher's blade just smashed to pieces, showing that Crusher had a lot more to give, but Ray had pure skill on his hands. So I hope you enjoyed this video about how weird kids anime is, as well as all anime by throwing logic out the window, but I digress. I forget I said any of that. I hope you enjoyed that, and if you enjoyed it, be sure to give it a like, click that notification bar, and which is a button, and be sure to follow me on all my social media pages, every single one of them. Thank you, and lights out.